Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of ExcelR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We've also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. A hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a light classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Wanna get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. ExcelR. We don't just train, we build careers.
Yes, so the collaboration with ExcelR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if ExcelR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with ExcelR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank ExcelR for being a part of it.
was very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later from our college, I get to know about ExcelR and I enrolled in ExcelR course. It was really good experience. Our course has been taken by Mayur sir, and he was very good teacher. He not only focusing on theory part, he is doing how real digital marketing.
Good afternoon, all. Hope all are doing good. So, we'll move to the session. Yeah, today we have our trainer Bala. So, Bala Chandra, you can take up the class.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone are doing great. So, yesterday we tried to review on understanding the cloud introduction and trying to see about the overview of infrastructure and the data center. Everyone able to see my PPT, right? Let me reshare again. Yeah. Let's try to discuss some more modules about the cloud introduction, the types. As yesterday we tried to see an introduction, how infrastructure works on, and what is a data center, okay? I hope everyone is clear with this topic. So today, let's try to see what are the different types of clouds as well, okay? So at the cloud computing, we have different types of clouds, okay? So, the most common that is needed to know were nothing but the private cloud, public cloud, and the hybrid cloud. So cloud service companies use advanced security techniques, all right, which includes encryptions, firewalls, access restrictions to secure the data from unauthorized access. So because our information is saved in the cloud, so it is secure even if our nearby devices are damaged, misplaced, or stolen. So the backup redundancy and the cloud backups guarantee that the data may be restored properly and effectively in case of any unexpected situations. All right. So let's try to see the different types of cloud information here. The first is nothing but a private cloud. What is private cloud? The private cloud is also known as internal cloud or corporate cloud. So it is used by organizations to build and manage their own data centers internally or by the third party vendors. That means they doesn't try to depend on any other vendors, or they don't try to give access to their data to the public cloud vendors or any other organizations. So that means they manage their own data centers. It means they don't want to depend on anyone because of the security concern. Okay, so you might have heard about different companies like a big companies, VMware, vSphere, OpenStack, Microsoft Azure, Oracle Cloud Customer, and IBM Cloud Private, and Dell, Cisco. These are the big companies who will try to maintain their own cloud environment. Okay. So when it comes to the private cloud environment, uh, it is situated with the physical infrastructure within the organization level. That means as the data center is managed by them, they completely deploy their own servers and they'll try to have a deployment. So it involves setting up and running a specific data center that offers the cloud services just for internal usage by the company. So the infrastructure maintained by these private cloud vendors like companies is completely under the hands of the within the organization internally. So in that way, it is going to give them the freedom to modify and set it up in any way they want so that they don't have any restriction. That means the maintenance, the expenditure, the investment, and everything that will be managed by them. Okay. So the reason they want to have this kind of a model, we are calling this a private cloud because organizations are mostly concerned about the security. They can successfully manage the security and compliance issues within their control. Okay. So they will be able to set up their manage the required hardware, software, and complete IT infrastructures and everything with themselves. Okay, that is nothing but a private cloud. What are the main advantages for these? The reason they want to have a deployment of private cloud is because private cloud providers have a high level of security and privacy to their within their organization level and to their users. So no one will have an access to anyone. All right. And other thing being, private cloud offers better performance with improved speed and capacity. Also, when it comes to the private cloud, it allows the IT team to quickly allocate and deliver on-demand IT resources. All right. So the other advantage being this is suitable for companies that require a separate cloud for their it requires separate cloud for the personal use and who will think that the companies which where the security is a highest priority. Okay. And the private cloud vendors, they will be able to customize their own infrastructure to meet the specific business needs and compliance regulations. All right. And also it provides higher reliability and uptime compared to the other public cloud vendors. All right. And also any company, just as any company, the compliance is an utmost priority in terms of auditing. So it will be trying to offer a compliance as well. They will be able to easily manage. Okay, as in terms of industry specific regulation. Okay, these are the main advantages of the private cloud. When it comes to the public cloud, what is the public cloud? Anyone can guess? Anyone can guess what is a public cloud? So public cloud is also known as internal cloud or the internet based cloud, right? So here in the public cloud, what actually happens, it is open to all. It is available to customer to store and access information via the internet using the pay as you go method. Pay as you go means these public cloud vendors, like big companies like we have seen yesterday, Google, Microsoft, Azure, and AWS, Amazon, Oracle, IBM, right? These are the famous big vendors. They are trying to have a deployment of infrastructure. They will try to take care of the infrastructure. They are trying to provide the services to the customers. So in the public cloud, what actually happens? Computing resources and the infrastructure are managed and operated by the cloud service provider. Who are the cloud service providers here? The big companies like IBM, Amazon, Google, AWS. No, these are the companies who are trying to who are trying to provide the services to the customer. So that means they will try to manage the soft infrastructure, ensures that the resources are accessible and scalable for the users. Okay. So with this option, anyone with an internet connection may use these services inside the public cloud, regardless of location or the company size. Users can use this kind of a public cloud services to store their data, run applications, and deploy any websites or hosting their complete network. So even it uses the pay-as-you-go strategy. Customers can assure that they will be only charged for the services or the resources they actually use. Okay, so that's nothing but it is coming under the pricing model, which is nothing but a pay-as-you-go model. Okay, so what are the advantages of public cloud we have seen when it compares to the private cloud? Rather, we try to deploy because the private cloud setup it's not possible for a smaller companies who can try to afford and manage, right? So when it comes to the public cloud, so you don't need to worry about the infrastructure, as completely the infrastructure management is will be taken care by the cloud vendors only. What are the main advantages? Public cloud is owned at a lower cost than the private and hybrid cloud. Okay, and public cloud is maintained by the cloud service provider so that they don't need to worry about the maintenance. As we are already aware, the companies and the people who are trying to have this public cloud services, they don't need to worry about the infrastructure. All right. Public cloud is easier to integrate. Hence, it offers a better flexibility approach to the customers. And other benefit is location independence. So as the public cloud setup is location independent because all the services, whatever we try to use, they can be used across the internet. All right. So public cloud is highly scalable as per the requirement of computing resources. That means whenever we need to expand the infrastructure, that means I just want to increase the resources of a particular server in terms of CPU, in terms of storage, in terms of storage, in terms of a capacity. Whenever I just want to need to increase, then what actually happens, it can be quickly scalable as per the need. Okay, it is quickly scalable and I don't need to worry about having the deployment. This is again one of the biggest benefit. The scalability is an important factor in the cloud technology. Okay, so the public cloud, it is accessible by the general public so that there is no limit to the number of users. So in number of people can try to access the services with the public cloud vendors, they can try to use it. And we have a rapid deployment of services and applications inside the public cloud. And it is going to help out in terms of time and effort in hardware procurement and the setup. So as we know, there are famous cloud vendors, they are trying to offer a high range of services and resources that we can try to avail for. Okay, so it is providing a built-in redundancy and resilience for enhanced reliability. So these are the main advantages of public cloud vendors. Okay, so when it comes to the hybrid cloud, what is hybrid cloud? Hybrid cloud is something which is nothing but the combination of the various like a private and public. Okay, so when it comes to the hybrid cloud, here what actually we can say, it is trying to have the services from private and public. Actually, hybrid clouds, it integrates the public and private clouds, allowing the companies to leverage both the advantages. That means it provides a unified platform where the workloads and data can be deployed and managed across both the environments. So that means in the hybrid cloud, whenever you want to choose the hybrid cloud model, half of the services that can be secured and half of the services that will be allowed openly to the internet. That means they are available for users to access. Okay, so hybrid cloud is suitable for organization that requires more security than the public cloud. Okay, because some of the services are completely hidden. They don't have an access to the clients and users across the internet. So that's why it is going to be beneficial. So in the hybrid cloud, it helps us to deliver new products and services more quickly. Okay, so hybrid cloud provides an very efficient way to reduce the risk. People who are doubt who want to have some security where they would like to hide some infrastructure and they don't want to expose over the internet. So some internal servers, they just applications they want to hide, and some applications of the services they just want to have it available over the internet. Okay, so hybrid cloud offers flexible resources because of the public cloud and secure resources because of the private cloud. We can see that definition. Okay, you need to understand it offers flexible resources because of the public cloud. That means that is available over the internet, and secure resources because of the private cloud. So it generates control over sensitive and compliance requirements inside the for hybrid cloud. Okay, so hybrid cloud supports cloud architecture which allows applications and data to be deployed across multiple cloud environments based on their unique requirements. All right. So apart from this, there is one more cloud called community cloud. Okay. So community cloud is kind of it's a module where it allows systems and services to be accessible by a group of several organizations to share the information between the organizations and specific community only. That means we are trying to create a cloud entity, and inside that community, only specific organizations are allowed to communicate each other, and others won't be able to access. Okay, so they can be able to only share the information within those community only. So it is owned, managed, and operated by one or more organizations in the community, a third party or a combination of them. Okay, that is nothing but a community cloud. So in the community cloud setup, usually this kind of a community cloud setup, the companies which can be from same industries, or it can be from government agencies or any other communities, collaborate to establish a shared cloud infrastructure. That means they don't give access to anyone. They combine together, group together. They will try to maintain their own community. So the infrastructure allows them to access shared services, applications, and data to their community itself. Okay, that is nothing but a community cloud. So that is also one kind of a cost-effective solution because the whole cloud is shared by several organizations or communities, and they will be able to share the entire expenditure and the investment. All right. Any doubts, guys, on understanding the different types? I can clarify. Any doubts? Anyone? Mm, Any doubts? Is that clear? Okay. So, all right, let's try to move other module. Why it is showing? Just a moment. So you can see the different types of the cloud vendors. I mean the types. That's a public, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. There is one more called community cloud. Okay, as which I've explained just now. So the advantages. What are the advantages of community cloud over private? Because the community cloud, what actually happens, rather depending on complete public cloud vendors. Okay, rather completely depending on the public cloud vendors to have an manage, as we don't have a management to completely have an owning the infrastructure, we don't have an option, right? In the community cloud, you will try to club with different organizations, like a big organizations. You will try to come to an understanding, and you try to have an investment together, try to deploy data centers and maintain that infrastructure, and everything will be you. So that, like private cloud, you don't have a single infrastructure, right? You're not the one company who is maintaining entire cloud data center. So all the communities coming together, they are trying to share equal investment and trying to deployment of the cloud infrastructure setup. All right, guys. Okay. So it's not about the security concern. See, some companies due to compliance, and they don't want to have a data shared to anyone, right, over the internet public cloud. So that's why, as big companies, you can see like VMware, Dell, Oracle, Cisco, these are the big companies. They do have an option for the investment, and they can try to have a deployment of their own infrastructure in the data center. So they have a capacity so that they can deploy their own data center rather depending on the public cloud services. Like private organizations, mid-scale industries, you know, these companies, they do have an option, and doesn't want to maintain the infrastructure. They don't want to invest the capital, right? Then they would like to prefer on the public cloud vendors. So that's why it comes into a picture. Okay. All right. So the next comes into picture. That is nothing but a cloud service models. What are the different types of cloud services? Okay. We do have a different types of cloud services. So which the most the important which we need to understand is nothing but SaaS, PaaS, PaaS, and IaaS, infrastructure as a service. That means SaaS is nothing but software as a service. PaaS is nothing but platform as a service. IaaS is nothing but infrastructure as a service. All right. So let's try to understand what are those. Okay. So what should be the best example for SaaS? Let's try to understand. SaaS is also known as on-demand software service. Okay. It is a software in which the applications are hosted in a cloud service provider, and users can access these applications with the internet connection and web browser. That means within the SaaS, you just have a control of the software, and you don't have a control on the infrastructure. That's the main thing you need to observe here. So as per the definition, if you see, SaaS is something which is completely the vendor, the cloud vendor is trying to provide software as a service to the customers, so that user can access these software applications with the help of internet connection and the web browser. Okay. So if you need to observe, what are the main characteristics of SaaS? The SaaS are actually managed by the cloud vendors from a centralized location, and these applications are installed on a remote servers and accessible over the internet. So here within the SaaS model, users are not responsible for hardware and software updates. Okay, updates and maintenance are completely applied automatically by the cloud vendor only. So the services which are purchased on the pay as per user basis. Okay, that's the one thing we can observe here. All right. Yes, Netflix is one kind of a SaaS application. Correct. So here, as we have seen, the users are purchased on the pay as per user basis. So the main examples for the software as a service here is nothing but big e-commerce websites, Google applications, Salesforce, Dropbox, and Cisco WebEx, Zoom, and Slack and GoToMeeting. These are all applications that come under SaaS applications. Okay. So when it comes to the SaaS, in terms of cost, cloud provides a pricing model that permits users or the customers to pay only for the software sources that we try to use and the sources that we consume. Okay. So here the main benefit is the users will get rid of the need of advanced infrastructure investment on and allows the price efficiency as business scale resources based totally on the need. Okay. And in terms of scalability as well, that means if an application is down, we don't need to worry about that. The backend, the cloud service provide the potential to scale the resources up and down speed, as per the requirement and respond to the changing workloads and commercial organizations and requirements. Okay. So when it comes to the updates and the patch management, cloud, vendor within the SaaS, it provides a in different automatic updates and manipulate the software application updates, patches and protections and the security, everything that will be taken care by the cloud vendor here. As we are not maintaining the infrastructure is completely on the cloud vendor only. So in this way, it ensures the client always have to get proper entry to the required abilities and production upgrades without the need for guidance intervention. All right. So that is nothing but a SaaS. When it comes to the PaaS, what is PaaS? Platform as a service. Let's try to see what is platform as a service. In PaaS, cloud computing platform. So the platform is created from the cloud vendor for the developers or the users or the programmers to develop, test, run, and manage the applications in the cloud environment. That means it is some kind, it's somewhat advanced when compared to SaaS because we are getting a complete platform from the cloud vendor where you will have an option like this kind of a PaaS service is most beneficial for the developers who want to develop, deploy and run the applications. Okay. So it is accessible to various users via the development applications and integrate with the web services and databases. So it supports multiple languages. That means the cloud vendor is trying to provide multiple platforms. That means if you want to deploy a code via .NET, Java, or Ruby or Python, so the cloud is trying to provide a platform to deploy a applications where you can try to have a seamlessly integration and trying to deploy the application here. So usually a developer, you want to develop an application, what do you need? You need a platform or a resources, right? You need to purchase a system, you need to configure the resources like CPU, RAM, and storage, and the graphics and required software for the developing. So all that complexity has been reduced here because the cloud itself is directly providing the platform over the cloud environment. Okay. What are the different examples for the platform as a service? Like if you have heard about AWS Beanstalk and Heroku, Google App Engine, and Magneto Commerce Cloud and OpenShift. These are the various examples for platform as a service. Okay. And the last one is nothing but IaaS. That is nothing but an infrastructure as a service. What is infrastructure as a service? It is also known as hardware as a service. That means the cloud vendor is trying to provide you the complete infrastructure, the hardware to you. Okay. So it is a computing infrastructure managed over the internet. The main advantage of using IaaS to the customers or the company is that it helps users to avoid the cost and complexity of purchasing and managing the physical servers. All right. So that means the main characteristics, if you see in the IaaS here, resources are available as a service. And that means you will be able to choose how much CPU you need, how much RAM do you need, what kind of an operating system you need, what kind of a storage, and what kind of a network that you would like to launch. Everything that is going to be selected. Okay. So here resources are available as a service and services are highly scalable. And you can be able to launch the required resources directly over the cloud console. And you should have an options to select CPU, RAM, storage, and other resources directly over the website. So what are the main examples? If you see, there are different example like EC2 service in Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google GCP Cloud, Google Cloud Compute Engine, Rackspace, and Cisco Meta Cloud. All these are the different examples for IaaS. Let's try to look at the representation of how these cloud service models are defined. If you see the SaaS, only I should be able to use the application. Okay, I mean the data here. And the installation of application, the runtime, operating system, virtualization, the physical server, physical storage, physical network, everything will be managed by the cloud vendor here. You can try to manage only the application. Okay. When it comes to the PaaS, you will be having an option for the platform to install and deploy an application here and maintain the data and all these red color aspects. You can see the physical aspects, the virtualization operating system, middleware, storage, networking, and the physical server, everything. When it comes to the IaaS is nothing but infrastructure as a service. Almost 50% of the modules are completely managed by the cloud vendor, and you have an options for the 50% that you can try to manage. That means you have an option to manage and select. I need this much. This is a Windows operating system. I need Linux operating system. I need this much of a CPU, and I need this kind of a runtime, like a Python or a JS, Node.js, or I want to have JavaScript or the Python that I just want to deploy, and I want to install the SQL database. Everything that you should have an option to select the applications and the deployment, and you have an access to deploy, install, and manage the data and applications as well. Okay. So because we are purchasing infrastructure as a service from the cloud vendor. So these are the different types of cloud. Yes, all the services which are offered here are reliable. And depending on our requirement, depending on the project and what kind of a service model you choose, you can try to select that. Any other queries? Okay, let's go move ahead. What are the different types of characteristics of cloud computing? So as we have aware of, it is trying to provide a self-service infrastructure. That means you should be able to configure yourself, trying to choose the required infrastructure that you would like to deploy. Whatever the resources you need, you should be able to deploy properly. Okay. And true elastic capacity, that means as the infrastructure is scalable and you can try to expand infrastructure whenever it is needed. So it has a capacity to expand automatically with the different types of auto scaling concepts. And in terms of business agility, it is trying to be aligned with the company policies and the organization, so that based on our requirement in terms of products and in terms of company needs, that infrastructure can be deployed. Okay, it is trying to adhere to the company policies and rules. Okay. Let's look at the main benefits of the cloud computing here. What are the main benefits of cloud computing? So the cloud computing, it offers various benefits, where the one of the benefit is nothing but scalability. The cloud computing offers scalable infrastructure. That means whenever there is a need, you can try to easily expand your infrastructure, and you can try to have scale down the infrastructure as well. Okay. So that means businesses can virtually store and manage a limitless amount of data, okay, in the cloud, as the cloud is offering a scalable and centralized storage option for all the types of cloud data, including documents, images, videos, audios, and other kind of a data that you would like to store. Okay. And the next main benefit is more flexible. Why it is more flexible? You have an option to have a self infrastructure. That means the cloud is trying to provide a graphical user interface in their respective cloud consoles so that you can be able to quickly trying to configure the infrastructure as you need. Okay, so it is trying to provide a collaboration in terms of technology as it possible for different users and organizations to share the information easily. So multiple users can work together on different projects and data and a shared storage in the cloud. In that way, it is trying to provide enhanced productivity and the teamwork. All right. So the main other benefit is nothing but reduced infrastructure cost. The cost is again the primary factor for all the organizations and the users and the clients. So organizations using the cloud computing can save the capital expenditure and the money in terms of hardware and software. Okay. As the cloud service providers complete maintenance of the infrastructure and they are trying to update, businesses no longer need to make costly infrastructure investment or don't need to set up any resources for continuous maintenance here. Someone have a question on any limitations in the services offered. There is no limitation as per in terms of in general if the services are offered with that specific location or the region so that are available to that particular locations only. There could be some services which not may be available for remote different locations where you can try to use the services from other regions. There are no limitations what actually they try to offer. So if you want to have a storage that is want to have an unlimited, they will be trying to provide, and based on that you need to pay the cost. Even in terms of server utilization you need to pay the cost. Okay, mostly I do see when it comes to AWS, they are trying to expand their data centers across different parts of the globe. So most of the services are across available across all the regions. That means all the locations. And they are trying to expand their business as well due to their popularity. It happens same with Azure and Google Cloud Platform. In terms of security, it's an important factor. Cloud computing places a high focus on the data security. To guarantee that data is handled and stored safely, cloud service providers offers cutting-edge security features like encryption, access limits, regular security audits, so that business can rest easy and the organizations can be confident enough and trustworthy to the cloud, knowing that the data is secure. That's why usually that AWS as well, they are trying to confirm 99.9% of durability and availability. So in that way, we are calling that it is trying to provide an enhanced high-level security. So the next main benefit is nothing but backup and disaster recovery. So cloud computing offering a quick and easy method for data backup and restoration. So businesses may simply access and restore the data, even in case of any atmospheric conditions or in case of any drastic situation that happen into that particular locations in that data centers. They do have a disaster recovery and backup options. So in the event of any data loss, they can try to have a system failure, they can try to have a quick backups by having that kind of an options within the cloud environment. That is one more important advantage. And other thing being the location constraints. As I've told, the cloud is trying to expand their services and business to across different parts of the globe. So most of the users across the globe, they should be able to access all the services across different locations and they can get a use of it. Okay. Any doubts on understanding the benefits of cloud? Any doubts, guys? Any doubts till here? The next slide represents the disadvantages of the cloud computing here. So that means there are, disadvantages in terms of like there are limited controls in trying to access the balanced infrastructure because everything is under cloud control. And in terms of security and the technical outages, these disadvantages can be avoided if you try to have a efficient and proper planning of usage. Okay, with the proper security mechanisms. Okay. Yep. So here is the difference between the on-premise and cloud. That means physical infrastructure in the cloud environment. What are the main differences if you see in terms of security? The on-premise it owns the complete responsibility of the infrastructure. But when it comes to the cloud, it is the service provider responsibility. In terms of customization, it is very difficult in terms of on-premise. When it comes to the cloud, it is simple. Updates, organizations has choice, but when in the cloud, it has no choice. Ownership, the complete ownership will be taken care by companies of server and data here. Only data ownership will be there when it comes to the cloud. That means you have an access to only the data, not to the backend data center or the infrastructure management. In terms of auditing, it is tough to troubleshoot and it is difficult, right? But in the cloud, it is simple. In terms of connectivity, it might be difficult after working hours. And in the cloud, data can be accessed anytime, anywhere across the world. Okay. Who can afford the on-premise private cloud, data centers? Only the big level organizations who can try to invest capitals and expand, right? And not the small companies. So the cloud-based infrastructure that can be managed by any level of organizations here. All kind of organizations can be able to manage. Okay. Yeah. So one such kind of a famous cloud vendor, which is nothing but AWS, and it's nothing but Amazon, right? You people might have heard. So Amazon full form, AWS full form is nothing but Amazon Web Services. It's the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform, offering over 200 fully featured services from data centers globally. That means Amazon is trying to offer 200 plus services across the globe, okay, over the different locations to the customers. And millions of customers, including the fast growing startup companies, largest enterprises, and leading government agencies, are using AWS to lower cost, become more agile, and innovate faster. So now where this Amazon, infrastructure has been deployed, it is actually trying to offer the services across different locations across the globe. Okay, so that means uh, into a different in these locations across the globe, the Amazon company has deployed their data centers. Okay, in these locations, the Amazon has deployed data centers. We are calling them as regions. Regions are nothing but locations. Zones are nothing but data centers within that locations. They will have multiple evolved zones in a single region. You can see how it is there. It is going to be help out in this way. So we cannot try to compare other cloud vendors like which is good like AWS, Google or Azure. It's like each have some specialty, and in terms of usage, in terms of services, like companies have a contractual basis in terms of subscriptions. They will try to choose the respective cloud vendors. Okay, it depending on the pricing factor in terms of contractual basis, and everything comes into a picture. Okay, it's not something that I can tell that only everyone has to use Amazon, everyone has to Google or Azure. It depends. But as per the current market share, AWS is trying to occupy most of the market, which I'm get to see. Okay, it's most popular. The others also competitors, they are coming to a picture, but AWS tops the most. So why AWS is needed? AWS is popular because of its diversity, its stability, and innovation in their services. Okay, so it has deployed into a different locations and the type of services which are available, and because of its migration, multi-region backups, scalability factors, and the pricing model. Okay, these are the main factors that are trying to make us use this kind of a cloud vendor like an AWS. So what are the different types of AWS services which are being offered? If you can see here, there are different services with these names like compute services where you can try to launch virtual machines, storage services, network services, integration services, analytics, database, and the management services here. Okay. And the top companies which are using AWS Cloud, you can see in terms of content, TV shows, movies, and original content. And the Netflix is using the storage inside AWS for storing their content and transcoding, and distribution services, which includes the gaming companies, Limelight Networks, streaming, and the playback devices like 200 plus devices, Apple TV, smart TVs, iOS devices, Androids, gaming consoles, and PCs. Okay, these are the top companies. They are trying to use Amazon Web Services. Okay. So in a full-time course batch, we usually try to, practice for the cloud architect program on trying to implement and understand these cloud services and trying to do a lab sessions as well. How do we interact with the cloud? AWS through management console, through command lines interface, through software development kits. Okay. So how do we try to interact with AWS? Right? And we are calling AWS as a well-architected framework in terms of security, operational excellence, reliability, performance efficiency, and the cost optimization. Right? So this is the introduction of the cloud and introduction about the AWS as well. So I'll try to show you how the console of AWS looks like, and let's try to understand what are the different services are offered. Any doubts still here? Anyone? Any doubts? You need to reach out to admin team for the PPTs. Okay, I'll show you how this console looks like for the AWS. So if you see, this is a website to load the Amazon console, console.aws.amazon.com. Once you load this, it will give you a prompt for username and the password. You see this? Next. So you have to create an account, and AWS is also providing a free tier account for practicing lab sessions for the who are the newcomers as well. So for another this 12 months, you can try to have an understand of this lab sessions as well, trying to practice various services. I'm clicking on sign in. So I'll just click on the code, copy and paste. Click on submit. You see, this is how the console looks like. So this is the console for AWS, and it looks like. And for example, I try to log in with the the account which I've created already. So that's why you're seeing this. Here on the right side, you can see which location you want to have deployment of infrastructure. For example, I'm trying to deploy my infrastructure in United States, Oregon region, US-West-2. Okay, so we have a different locations. You can see that Mumbai, Seoul, Singapore, Sydney, Tokyo under Asia Pacific, Canada, Europe countries, and the South America. Okay, there are 13 more regions that are actually available. So I'm trying to choose, randomly like Oregon, but always it is recommendable to choose the nearby region where you are staying. For example, you are staying in India. You can try to choose the Mumbai location so that you will get a full optimization and get usage of this particular services. Okay. As I've already created before all the resources in Oregon, I'm using this for now. On the left side of the screen, if you see, these are all services which are actually available from the AWS cloud. You can see there are 200 plus services which are actually being offered by AWS, which includes analytics, blockchain, business application, containers, database, developer tools, gaming development, IoTs, machine learning, media services, migration, network, robotics, satellite, security, storage. These are various services which are being offered with the cloud. Okay. Let's try to see. Uh, we'll try to see and understand on the first module, that is nothing but the compute services, for example. Okay. We show that the compute is nothing but which is trying to provide virtualized access to a server. Let's see how it is going to work. Show that. What is compute? As by the definition, as I told you, the compute, I mean, cloud computing is trying to offer the compute services like a virtual service over the internet, right? So Amazon EC2, there is a service called EC2. It provides resizable compute capacity in the cloud. Okay. So EC2 full form is nothing but Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay. It provides virtual machines, provision servers in minutes, and it can scale, automatically scale capacity up or down as needed. Also, it enables you to pay only for the capacity that we use. That means you can launch the virtualized servers inside the cloud environment. Okay. So how this is going to help out? We can use Amazon EC2 to have a complete control of your computing resources, which includes operating system and the processor type, and provides the options for optimize the computing cost, on-demand instances, reserved instances, and spot instances and saving plan. There are different types of instances. Instances means nothing but a server. So it provides an ability to run any type of workload. For example, this EC2 is trying to provide to help you launch simple website, enterprise applications, high performance application. That means this EC2 server can act like a web server, application server, database server, media server. Okay, you can see how this virtualized server can be had. Okay, so there are different types of ways where these types of servers can be available. Okay, I'll show you where in the cloud console it looks like. This is a EC2 service which will be located under the compute. Under the compute section, I'm clicking on EC2 virtual servers in the cloud. I'm selecting that. So if I try to see here, for example, this is a console for EC2 where it will allow you to launch a server inside this particular AWS, for example. Okay. Let's try to launch a sample server. Okay. For example, a sample Linux server. That means whatever the operating system we need, we can try to launch that. And based on that, the charges will be implemented. So in what basis the charges are actually being configured? If you see here, show that. If you see, when I'm trying to click on launch, for example, I want to launch a sample server. I'm just trying to give a name here. For example, web server, test web server. Okay. I'm selecting Amazon Linux, the next image. So here, what kind of a server I would like to launch? So that means you have a different options that you can try to select. You see here, Linux images, Windows images. Based on the architecture, you can select 64-bit, 32-bit, ARM processor, Mac. There are different types of images that you can try to select. Image is nothing but iOS image, right? So in earlier days, when we want to install some iOS inside your computers, you used to install some CD drive or bootable pen drive where you try to install operating system, correct? It works under the same concept, like an image that is already there, which is ready and given by the cloud vendor. We are simply trying to deploy. That's it. Okay. I can select here, for example, all Linux image I want to deploy. I'll click on free tier. I'm selecting this. Okay. So I have given here. So I'm selecting the required authentication. So I'm giving 8 GB as a root volume storage, like a C drive, and trying to launch a server. Let's see how much time it takes. So here I'm trying to launch a virtual server. Okay, like a the computer which we are trying to use it in the same way. I'm trying to have a virtual computer over the cloud, simple, over the internet. It is getting initialized. Let's give it some time. So let me try to refresh. It should actually load. You can see my server is in running state. Checks has been passed. I'm clicking on connect. Okay. I'm just trying to click on connect. See, I mean, I can simply launch a Linux web server here. I can try to enter commands, trying to administrate here, for example. See, I can try to execute with the commands and install the server and applications inside the server, which is done very quickly. It just took, minute to launch a server inside the cloud environment. I'm trying to deploy a sample website inside this, for example. Let's see. So I'm trying to use this Linux server as a web server. Okay. I'm just trying to load this IP address over the internet. It just try to have something like welcome to, right? I think it didn't took full name. Let me try to have a clear VI space index. So I'm just trying to have a sample deployment of a website. You see this? You can see this, right? I simply deploy a sample website over the cloud environment with the help of Linux server and Linux commands. You people can also try to access this, the URL which I posted in the chat. Does it show the website which I've deployed? Is it coming? Yes. So see how quick I can try to have the resources deployed in the cloud. So in this way, people who are actually aware of the website deployment, they can try to have a configuration. Okay. They can try to do a website deployment with a HTML code as well. This is how it will be helpful. No, it didn't deploy it. I mean, with any S3 bucket, it's directly deployed within the server storage. Yes, the HTTPS is not installed because SSL is not installed in the system. SSL certificate is needed for HTTPS to work. Just want to have a sample deployment. That's why. Clear? So you can see I just deployed a sample website to show the image as well. Is it showing for everyone? Same, right? So this is how I can try to deploy a server for Linux, you know, sample deployment. See how quick I can able to do it. Correct? Any doubts here? Yes, if you try to have a full-time course batch, you will, have this information and how to do these instructions. Okay. The documentation, everything will be shared by, admin team. So once I'm done with testing with this server, okay, I can simply try to click on terminate the server as well. You can see once I'm done with the work, I can simply stop the server, reboot the server, or terminate the server as well. Okay. If I'm done with this lab session, for example, I can delete the instance. Okay, I can simply shut down the server as well. For example, if I want to launch a Windows server, okay, let me see how it can be done. So I can type it as test Windows server. I'll select the Windows image and it is Windows minimum requirement for a root volume for the C drive is 30 GB. I'm selecting that and let me launch quick. So I've selected all the settings, whatever required. So key pair is an authentication mechanism. It's kind of a credentials, like an secure credentials to allow you to log in, access the server. Okay, without the key pair, you cannot launch the server. You cannot connect the server. Anyone who is having this key pair, only they will be able to connect that. It's an authentication mechanism. Okay. So let's see, my server is getting launched. So my server is getting initialized. One key pair is, enough for a particular region. With the key pair, you can launch n number of servers. One key pair should be fine. It is not required to generate a different key pair every time for launching a server. With one key pair, you can launch any server. So here, if you see the status checks are going fine, these statuses has to pass. We have a different types like system status checks and instance status checks, checking the hardware, the backend, and trying to have a checking of connection activity. If there are errors, these status checks will be fine. Monitoring, and it is launched under a specific network which has been created by me. And the storage is nothing but 30 GB of a storage has been allocated to this server. Okay, let's see. Usually take 2 to 3 minutes for a Windows server to get launched. So I'm connecting the server again. Okay, I'll copy this. Just try to generate the password quick. So the password has been decrypted. So I'm connecting the server with the public IP. It should ask for password, username and password. I'm entering this. If I click on OK, it is asking for confirmation to connect the server from my local machine. You can see a server is getting launched inside my system. This is nothing but Windows server. Yes, Amazon is trying to provide a free tier account for 12 months. That is for certain period. Under these 12 months, there are only specific services that you will get to use and practice. If you use any other services, that will be chargeable. So you shouldn't do that. Okay. Yes, we can use free tier access to teach students as well. And even our course training, we will try to have our students to create a free tier account and let them practice. So if you see here, I've tried to launch a server. This is a Windows. And once I try to open a file explorer here, you see it is having 30 GB of a storage, right? Like a C drive. Okay. And if you want to see the specifications, let's see the system information. So if you see, we have T3.micro, that is instance type, which is having 1 core CPU and 1 GB RAM. Okay. Here this is a 1 core CPU and 1 GB RAM. We have different types of instance types here. That is general purpose instance type, compute optimized, memory optimized, storage optimized, accelerated computing. Based on your purpose, like deployment of a general purpose, we'll try to use these type of instance types. For high performance compute related applications like high CPUs, we'll use these series. Memory related applications, we'll use R series. Storage related, we'll use these series. And accelerated computing, high sensitive applications like calculations and other types of devices, we'll be trying to use these series. Okay. This is how I can try to have it. For example, I want to have attached additional storage to this server. Okay. What I can do, I'll go to volumes. This is already 30 GB of a storage to this server. I'm creating additional volume. So this is launched under the availability zone. It is 2C. Okay. So I have to create a volume under 2C. I'm just trying to create this as a D drive. Okay. I mean, this is a C drive. I want to create D drive, for example. This is a C drive is a local root volume storage, which is trying to have OS installation files. I'll create additional volume. For example, I'll create as a 5 GB and should be US West 2C, right? So just trying to do it. Create volume. This is D drive. Attach volume. You can see I'm attaching to the server, giving the label as D drive. Now this is the status is in use. Now I'll go to the server. I'll refresh. It shouldn't work because I have to do a disk partition for this. I'll try to do a disk partition now to attach this drive to the server. You can see I am trying to click on new simple volume. Next, 5 GB of storage, assigning the word as D drive. You can see I can give any drive names here. Finish. Now your volume should be coming up here. You see this? A new volume has been added. There is a C drive and D drive where you can try to store the data. Okay. In this way, I can try to have the storage that can be attached to the server as well. And if you don't need a storage, simply you can try to delete the storage as well, like detach, example. Detach volume. I can delete. Delete volume. Now the volume got deleted. In this way, in the cloud, I can try to easily have a configurations of volumes as well. Okay. So you cannot try to delete C drive because it is attached to the server that contains OS files. So the server won't function. Once you terminate the server, then only this server will get, this volume get deleted. See, I'm trying to stop this once I'm done with the lab session. Okay. See, I've terminated the server as I'm done with the work now. So my server is also getting shut down. Okay. So as part of Reader account, we have different services that we'll get to use. If you just go to type a Google, if you see AWS Reader account, you will get to know what kind of a services that you will get to use. Okay. Someone had a doubt on what kind of a services for the free tier limits. If you type this link will get understanding of different services that you'll get to use. You see this? These are the different types of services under the free tier account. You can use it. Okay. I hope everyone got worth out of the session. Any queries? We are done with session. Any queries? We can catch up tomorrow for trying to look at some other topic. Any doubt? Steps will be provided in the full-time course batch, not now. So the recording will be available as for admin team. You can, they will be tell you. So yes, even Mumbai or Bangalore, whatever the location, I think the data center is available in Mumbai only. So you will have all the services which will be available.
Thank you. So, dear faculty members, I have shared the attendance link on the chat. Kindly mark your attendance. If you have any query, you can just ask me out. And some are asking about yesterday's attendance. Sorry, we are not able to share any attendance. Like yesterday's attendance already closed, as we all informed. Like 4:30 to 5:30 only attendance will be active. Yesterday's attendance has been deactive, so we cannot send that attendance link. We'll wait for 5 to 10 minutes. If you have any query, kindly ask. I will reply for that. Yes, Rakesh, we are done for the day. If you don't have any query, you can leave the session. Yes, the recording will be visible on your LMS dashboard. As of the first day, like yesterday, we have showed you how to use the LMS and how to watch the recordings. From there, you have to you can watch the recordings of each and every session, and also you will get the materials. How to log in LMS? So once you register for this program, you will get one mail, right? In that mail, you will be having your credential. Like you have to set your password by using a mail ID and the password. You have to log in. There will be one link, that is onlinelearning.com. That will be the link. Using that link, you have to log in. So Tejaswini, if you have not received a mail, kindly drop a mail to edl@excelr.com. We will help you out. We will check and let you know. I will just mention the mail ID on the chat. Kindly note it down. That is edl@excelr.com. As I told, like some are asking about yesterday's attendance link, as we are not able to share attendance link of yesterday's. So, 60% of attendance is mandatory to get a certificate. So, from today till last date, kindly attend the classes so that you will get the certificate. If you have not marked your attendance yesterday, that's okay, no problem. From today, don't miss the classes. Mark your attendance properly. Today's attendance link I have already shared. If you guys required again, I will share on the chat. Kindly mark your attendance. Then if you don't have any query or questions, you can drop the session. Shravani, there will be no any attendance list. We are not sharing any attendance list. So you have to you will be knowing, right, how many days you have attended. Based on that, you will get the certificate. You have to score above 60%. So Tejaswini, you're asking me about I have to suggest some lab work for the BTech students on cloud computing. Actually, I'm really not the right person. You have to ask with your trainer. I mean, Bala sir is your trainer, right? Tomorrow you can ask. He already dropped the session. Tomorrow you can ask him. He will help you out. Tarun, I have already shared the attendance link. Let me share once again. Okay, I hope there are no questions to be asked. So we are winding up for the day. We'll meet again by tomorrow at the same time. That will be at 3 p.m. Kindly join at 3 p.m. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. Thank you.